What's up, guys? This is Dave Marshall with the RC Marshall YouTube channel, and today we are doing the flight review of the Dynam C-47 Skytrain. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn your notifications on so you never miss another video from the channel. Now let's get over to the field and do the flight on the C-47, and then we'll head back to the studio and talk about the plane. We're at the field today with the Dynam C-47 Skytrain. Some folks lovingly call it the Skytrain because of the funny marking on the box, but we'll go ahead and take a look here in the battery bay. What I'm running is a Spectrum 2200 milliamp smart pack. This is a 3S, which is what the manufacturer calls for. This is one of their 30C 2200 millisecond packs. I've got it pushed all the way forward, and we're going to take it up for a flight. The C-47 is a pretty basic model, 4-channel. We've got rudder, we've got elevator, and we've got ailerons and throttle, and that's it. There's no flaps, there's no retract, so it's a pretty simple machine. And we'll go ahead and head out to the field here and get her off the ground and see what she can do. All right, so the C-47 so far is an awesome flying plane. This thing is super stable. Now I do have a AR636 stabilization receiver in here with AS3X turned on. Actually, it is, yeah, AS3X is turned on.
I like this one.
We'll go ahead and bring her down here for very steady airplane. A little bit of trim here. Sounds very cool with the twin engines. Thank you. And we got someone at the east end of the field here, so we're kind of cutting the field in half. And one thing with this plane, I mean, you don't have a ton of elevator authority, but you got enough. So what I've been doing is just kind of coordinating the turns a bit. A little bit. Oh yeah, it's a great plane. And it's actually very well balanced with that 2200 3S pack, so we don't need a ton of weight up in the nose like you do with the Dynam Warbirds.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
Nice slow pass there. For this next pass, I'll pour on the coals a little bit and see what she can do speed-wise. But she gets along pretty good. This is Dynam.
Oh, really?
Yeah, C-47.
I got 5 jumps out of one of those.
One minute.
All right, so we got about a minute left of battery, so I'm going to go ahead and try to set her down here and see how she does. Landing right, left.
Timer stop. Timer stop.
Well, there we go. So that is the Dynam C-47. Now we got about 44 seconds of flight time. So that was about 4 minutes and 20 seconds of on throttle time. So that's above 25% throttle. And we'll go ahead and check the battery to see where our cells are at. We'll go ahead and get her back on the bench here. And we'll pull out the battery. So again, this is a 20C, or I'm sorry, a 30C 2200 3S pack, Spectrum Smart Pack. We'll go ahead and plug her in and see where our cells are at. And we are at about 387, 389, just about 388. So, you know, we landed her a bit early. We probably had about another minute of flight time on that with the 2200 3S pack. So great efficiency out of the airplane. It's equipped with two 1100 kV motors, as you saw. It got along quite well on 3S. Very stable flyer. All right, guys, so that was the flight of the C-47. As you guys saw in the video, it's not the fastest model in the world, but that's not what it was intended to be. This is a very scale flyer, very relaxing for a day at the field when you don't really want to set your hair on fire and you just want to get some relaxing flights in. This is a great go-to plane for those kind of lazy days. We didn't do a separate build video on the C-47 because the build is pretty straightforward and I didn't run into really any issues. A couple of things I wanted to point out is most of the construction is done with parts that glue in place, right? So if you're looking for a model where everything kind of bolts on, this may not be something that you're looking for. But if you don't mind, you know, gluing the different parts and pieces together, then the C-47 is going to be a great plane. This model is equipped with 1100 kV motors. They're both outrunners, and they are counter-rotating, so you do get two 3-blade counter-rotating props. It's a simple airframe. It only has 4 channels, right? So you only have your throttle, aileron, elevator, and rudder. A couple of areas that I wanted to point out is in the back on the elevator, there is a joiner bar that the control rod for the elevator mates into. And that joiner rod, as well as your 2 landing gear, I would recommend using something like a 30-minute epoxy to set those in really strong so they don't pull out in flight. As you guys may have seen in the flight video, I did have some issues where the plane was kind of turning and doing weird stuff, which you wouldn't normally see on a counter-rotating twin like this. And what I found out later was that one of the main landing gear had come loose where I just used foam tack to glue that in. So the only other problem that I had with the airplane is on the tailwheel assembly for the tailwheel tiller, the little gear wire that the wheel slides onto. They've only got a little rubber grommet that holds that wheel into place. I had an issue where that rubber grommet had fallen out in flight, which you can see during the landing. I was not able to control the plane coming down the runway. And one reason for that is I didn't have a tailwheel anymore. It was just scraping that gear wire along the bottom. Now, I did find the tailwheel later on magically. I have no idea how I found that thing because it's pretty small. And what I would recommend is getting a small wheel collar and sliding it on there and using the set screw to set that in place where you don't have to worry about it flying off. Now, aside from those small issues, everything else on the aircraft worked great. Now, with regard to the flight performance, something to keep in mind is that this is not intended, nor is it a high-performance aircraft. So when you roll into a turn, you're going to need to coordinate that turn. Your tail is going to hang, and you're going to need to use the rudder, you know, to coordinate that turn and get the tail up. Now, for the flight that I was on, I did have an AR-636 receiver in the aircraft with the stabilization turned on. Now, I was turning it on and off during the flight, and I didn't really notice that much of a difference between having it on and off, and it was a fairly windy day that day. So I would say that you don't really need any type of stabilization on this aircraft. You've got a long wingspan, really good control with the elevators, and it's just a stable platform altogether. If you're interested in picking up one of the C-47s, be sure to check the links down in the description. We've got affiliate links with BitGo Hobby, and when you use those links, it offers a small commission to the channel at no additional cost to you, and we certainly appreciate your support. There's also some other ways to support the channel down in the description, so be sure to check those out. Also, be sure to visit us every Monday night at 8 o'clock for Air Marshal Mondays, which is our live show, and we have our virtual fly-ins where you could win $25 gift certificates and more on the first Monday of every month, so be sure to join us for those as well. As always, if you have any questions, be sure to leave those down in the comment section, and I will get to you as soon as I can. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you never miss another video from the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.